So we're going to do Arkansas, Louisiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, and I added Puerto Rico, even though it wasn't on the map. So starting with Arkansas, a couple of interesting things. So I just got these from Camp DeSoto a few years ago. And prior to that, my very first Arkansas ones, and these are all the same, as you can see. My very first ones from Arkansas were from East Arkansas. And the little CV here is from Cedar Valley. And that's their camp, but these are just their regular CSPs. These aren't camp CSPs. They just stuck that on their regular uniform wear. But these are the first ones I got from Arkansas. I didn't have anything else from Arkansas. So usually I like to have the camp name on there, but I figured just to have the Arkansas represented, I got these. But then I got these Camp DeSotos, and I actually got several here from Camp Orr from West Ark. So but I'm going to keep the East Arkansas because they were first. All right, so that's Arkansas. Moving on to Louisiana. So this is Calcasieu Area Council, and this is Camp Edgewood. And for their 50th anniversary, they went nuts. As you can see, this is a 50th anniversary. This is a 50th anniversary. I don't know if you can see it very well on these three, but down on the bottom here, it's got Camp Edgewood, CE here, and 50th. So these are all 50th anniversary. And we got the first Cub resident camp and family camping. These are all 50th anniversaries, all come out the same year. And then they also did these 50th anniversary Camp Edgewood with Mom and Me games. And I haven't seen any other Camp CSPs from them since then. So it was a hot year for those, but that was it. So Louisiana, this is one of my favorite ones. I just got this probably a month and a half ago from Rob, and I don't know where he got it, but I'm glad he did, because this is absolutely one of my favorites. It's the only one I have from Evangeline area, Swamp Base. It's a cool name. It's a cool patch. There's nothing about this patch I don't like. Then still in Louisiana, moving on to the Estruma Council, just Estruma area. I got a couple as a kind of a night and day scene, even though they're 2 years apart. And it's Avondale Scout Reservation. So this is interesting. So these two here, I probably wouldn't have collected at all if I didn't get this one first. This one here is from Kinsey Scout Reservation, Scout Lake. And then I saw this one, so I thought, well, it's got to be the same thing. And you can't see it there really well, but it's Ghosted 2015. And then this one is another one they made the same year. And got the Boy Scouts over here. At least I hope that's what it means. The BS. Okay, this is Wichita Valley. These are interesting. I've got 5 here from Camp TL James. I look for these online on eBay and stuff like that, and I don't know what the people who from this council think, but I see these on eBay for $60, $70, $80. I never see any of them sell, but I never see them any cheaper either. So I traded for most of these probably 15 years ago, and I'm glad I got them. But and they're nice. I like them, but I don't think I'll ever be buying any. So this is interesting. This is Southeast Louisiana Camp V-Bar, and these all came out the same year, 2002. And I traded for probably 3 of these. I think I got these 3 from one person, and I got this one later. And he was not from Louisiana, so I don't know whether this was true, but he thought they issued a different one each week at camp. And it doesn't say that. And maybe they just didn't put it on there so they wouldn't kind of be, hogtied with, only selling them that week. But that's what he thought. And but that's fine. I like them either way. And then also in the same council, they have Salmon Scout Reservation. And we got a couple here from Summer Camp 2007 and 2009. And on the next page, I also have 2008, which are exactly like these. And but they have a venturing camp that year. And I like this design. I like the little, piece stuck down the bottom there to, with the words. I like those. And it's also Southeast Louisiana, their Cub World, scouting down to Bayou. A couple different years here. This is Tennessee, Cherokee Area Council. So they put out a lot of CSPs, a lot. Back in the mid 2000s, they had a CSP club, and I was a member of it. So I have a lot of other Cherokee Area Council CSPs, a lot of them, but they never added any of these Skymont ones to that club. So these I had to chase down on my own. And of all the ones I have, oddly enough, this top one here with the gray border and the blue ghost was by far the hardest one to get. I couldn't tell you why, but I chased that for 5 or 6 years before I finally got it. But some of these are pretty nice. I like some of the ones they made. Not too crazy about this bottom right one, but I like most of the rest. There's some more from Skymount. And unfortunately, it's funny, I collect these camp CSEs, but I know very little about the camps, unfortunately. Sometimes I do a little research to find a question, to answer a question that comes up on the CSPs, but other than that, I really know very little. But like I say, they make a nice one, a different one every year, and it's pretty nice. These I like a lot. This Chickasaw Kiakima Scout Reservation. I like this design they have here, and they ghosted in here and there. And I don't know how many of these there are, because I've got these two ghosts, and this one is the only one that really shows a nice picture of it full color. And then I have all three of these, and I don't know if there's more of these. I hope there are. I hope I can maybe fill out a page or two of these. But I like these a lot. I really like that, whatever it is, some alien maybe that landed there and built a camp. Camp Buck Toms in Smoky Mountain Council, Great Smoky Mountain. And these are pretty nice. I like the name of that camp. Couldn't tell you why, but I do. Camp Buck Toms. That sounds pretty cool. And these are nice patches as well. So interesting story on this one. Also Great Smoky Mountain. Last year for NOAC, it was in Knoxville, as I'm sure you all know. And we're coming from New England, so we had to stop on the way down there. So they ended up camping at Camp Palisippi the night before NOAC, so they were close. And I'll tell you, I was on staff, so I drove down separately. But I talked to my contingent, and any of you guys that are from around here or know people from this camp, they have every reason to be proud of this camp. My contingent could not stop talking about how nice the camp was, how gracious the camp staff was. They would go there anytime, anywhere. This is one camp that they will visit again. Also, Middle Tennessee, got Boxwell Reservation. Kind of interested in knowing what this structure is, but I don't know, maybe somebody will know. All right, Sequoia Council. This is Camp Davy Crockett. And I bought all these all at once. This was something they had on their online store. And I'm not sure what this last one is. I'm not sure who Freddie Johnson is. This one doesn't have the camp name on it, but the other three do. And this was part of the set. So I assume that this is a fishing dock at the camp. But I like these. I like the design. The fact that they're honoring somebody, I like that. We don't get a lot of those, so I like those. All right, West Tennessee area, Camp Mac Morris. I like the little logo they have here with the bird in the tent. This one here is the first one I ever got. And one by one, I added the others, mostly through trades. I like this one down here with the kids, having a great time. That's what camp is for. One more Camp Mac Morris. I really like this one too, actually. I like this design. And then this is Adventure Basin, which I gather is a cub camp. All right, Mississippi. Andrew Jackson Council. I got a couple here for Camp Kickapoo. Obviously, they're FOS patches. Two for Camp Kickapoo and two for Camp Hood. I'm wondering if this is an actual piece of leather that they have for their OA ring or something. Pine Burr is at Camp Tiac. And it's funny, I have another one that says Tiac that I ended up buying it on eBay, and then I did a little research on it, and I found out that their OA lodge is also Tiac. It turns out the other patch is a lodge patch, not a camp patch. So it got pushed to the curb. And then this is an old scoutery at Camp Shelby. Camp Yocana, I like their logo a lot. It's on all their patches. I like the white campfire. This is probably my favorite one of this group. Although you can't go wrong with a night on a horse. So this here is a numbered set, number 72, and it talks about some of the different aspects of camp. H2O week, cope. This is obviously their cup camp. And the interesting thing is, so these are all number set 72, as are these two, but these two are not numbered. So I don't know whether they made a kind of complete set of unnumbered. I assume they did, but so far these are the only two I've been able to track down without the numbers. Yeah, I like these a lot too. This one that actually does say camp week 1, week 2. And I actually had to chase these down one at a time. It was tough, but I really like these a lot. Um, anyway, we're into Alabama, obviously. And this is Black Warrior Council and Camp Horn. And they're all different too. They didn't just put, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 on the same patch. So I like that. And then they made a set for the 2021, I think it was, Jamboree. And only 3 of these are camp patches. So I pulled those aside, but I traded for the entire set on somebody on Facebook. So it was all or nothing. And I was happy to get the whole thing. The other 2 are, one of them is for their council center, and the other one just says Western Alabama. That's a nice looking set. I like it. This is one of my favorite ones from this grouping. I like the shape. It's a nice clean patch. Thanks to Greg, by the way, for sending me this. I like this patch a lot. Also, the 001 is not a number. That's the council number. All right, Tuckabatchee. Maybe if somebody knows what WSR is, I assume the SR is Scout Reservation. I did some research. I could not find what the W is. So if somebody knows, if they could throw it in chat, that'd be great. But this Camp Tuckabatchee, this is kind of a cool patch. I like it, but I wish I knew what the WSR was. All right, North Carolina. All you North Carolina guys, sit back and relax, enjoy. We'll start with Cape Fear, Camp Bowers. And these things kind of have that Frankenstein look to them. But actually, this is the first one I ever got from Camp Bowers. I really like this one. And again, I like that design with the lower kind of extension. And these are the legends of Camp Bowers. And this guy shows up in Okanichi as well, so we'll see him again. Camp Daniel Boone. He gets a page to himself because he's the only one I have from that council. Nice looking patch. East Carolina. They have a few camps. They have Camp Charles. And these are numbered. Number 49 and number 16. And then this one's got Camp Sam Hatcher, Camp Charles. Oh, sorry, these are Camp Charles. And this one also has Camp Honor. And this one's also numbered. Now, East Carolina, a couple of years ago, I think it was the 50th anniversary of their camp. And I'll get to that in a minute on the next slide. Anyway, I like this again. The shape, I love it. And I like the design. This is the same. Their regular CSP has this design, so I like this patch. East Carolina Scout Reservation. And then we finally get to Camp Bodie. And they went crazy for Camp Bodie this year. Looks like it's the 50th anniversary here. Some of these are pretty nice. And then there's 3 more. This is a pretty cool little area here. All right, this is Mecklenburg County, Camp Grimes. The only Mecklenburg I have, so it gets a lot of coverage. And I assume MSR is Mecklenburg County, a regular Mecklenburg Scout Reservation. So this is one of my favorite patches of all my collection. I like the message. I like the clean design. Nothing about this patch I don't like. This is Okanichi Council, Camp Durant. And I got these one at a time. I got this one first. And then I got the staff one. I thought I had them both, all of them. But then this one cropped up somewhere, and I was pretty happy to get that one as well. I like these. I like these a lot. All right, more Camp Durant, a staff patch here, and I'm not sure what the difference between blue and black, probably Cubs and Boy Scouts. And I assume OSR is Okanichi Scout Reservation. They don't all say that, but most of them do. I like this one. It has that Northern Tier look, the way those guys always dress like with the overalls. Baden Powell and the smoke here. That's pretty nice. And these are oversized too. Most of these are all oversized as well. And these are regular size. And there's that same thing from Camp Bowers, only now it's Camp Durant. All right, Old North State. I believe we have somebody on the call from Old North State and Cherokee Scout Reservation. These 2 are from the 50th anniversary of 2018. I really like this one with the cannon. And there's a few more. I like the cannons, period, but I definitely like the first cannon better than the rest. All right, Piedmont, Camp Bud Shield. They put out at least a patch or 2 every year. This one here, kind of ugly in my opinion, but it's only ugly till you turn off the lights. All these yellowish green, they're all glow in the dark. And with the lights on, it actually looks pretty cool. So that one gets a solid C. I like this one too with the little ridge pole sticking out the top. They also had kind of a theme going for a while here with these cross flags. And I have several. Passport to Adventure, Highland Summer, and they all have the OA designation there. A couple more. Superman makes his appearance. Or my favorite of the Camp Bud Shields are these Spartan ones. It's the first one I ever got from that camp, and still my favorite. So we kind of got that James Bond look, but all you see is through the scope. I have a couple from New Jersey that look just like this as well. More Bud Shield. These are pretty nice. They're easy to find on eBay, and there's a lot of people on Facebook that have them. So even though I bought a few of them, I traded for definitely more than I bought. That's always the way I prefer to get them. Can't go wrong with Baden Powell, of course. All right, on to South Carolina. I detect a theme on these patches. You take off that bottom piece, that's pretty much what their regular CSP looks like. Tracking down all of these, track these down one at a time. I don't even know if I have them all yet. Every time I think I have them all, I find another one. Camp Old Indian. Even though they're all the same, I'll tell you, I got to admit, I like them. I like every one of them. I think it's a cool design, and I'm okay with having a bunch the same. All right, Coastal Carolina, Camp Honowa, 75th anniversary. Obviously, the only one I have from Coastal Carolina. Indian Waters, Camp Barstow, and one of the training lodge at the camp. I'm always happy when I get something like this because I don't have anything else from this council. I don't have anything else from this camp. So when I get a new camp and a new council that I don't have, that's one of the highlights of collecting these. PD area, Camp Coker. And then I got both of these fairly recently. It was in the last year. I was talking down at NOAC. I was talking to one of the guys at the big expo area there, and I was from Atlanta, and they were giving out business cards and stuff like that from these two camps. And I was talking to one of the guys, and I mentioned my collection here, and he says that they had one of these from each of the camps. And so I went out and I found them. Traded for this one. I had to buy this one online on eBay. Benjamin Hawkins, Central Georgia. So one I've had for a long, long time. I got this probably more than 15 years ago. One of my early favorites. All right, Chattahoochee Council is interesting because they have spelling errors. I don't know who they get their patches from, but this is Chattahoochee Scout Reservation. And this is Camp Bradshaw, and you see there's two of them. This one here is the inaugural year, which is missing a little something. So they fixed it with this one. This is the inaugural year. And I've had both of those since they first came out. I remember trading for those with somebody when they first came out. Made a big deal out of the error. So this is Camp Frank G. Lumpkin, FGL. I don't know how, I hope this is coming out good on your screens. I don't know what the heck this is, but I sure don't want to see one of these in my camp. I don't think I'd go back to camp if I ever saw one of these lurking around. But speaking of the spelling errors, they misspelled Chattahoochee on this one. So they issued it again. I don't know what their plan was here. All right, Coastal Carolina, you got Camp Blue Heron and the Black Creek Scout Reservation. This is a nice looking patch. This one's interesting. They made the CSP without the eagle. The eagle is an applique that they stuck on it. It's a separate piece, so it's 3D. It's nice, but it's interesting. All right, Northeast Georgia. I kind of have a soft spot for Camp Rainy Mountain. When I first started collecting patches, later on I'll show you my little on my side. I'm not going to do this for my side collection. In my 2 minutes, I have another one. I saw a patch from New Zealand. I was hot for a couple of years, and I finally found somebody from New Zealand who had one, and he traded it to me. It turns out his troop is the one that made it, and we ended up becoming friends. And he used to bring his troop to America every 4 years, and they would either go to Camp Rainy Mountain or Camp Cherry Valley out in California. Because back in the early days, those are the only two camps that would accept girls. And in New Zealand, they don't have boy troops and girl troops. They just have scouts, and they're integrated, like venturing. So when I got these, somebody told me about this. I called the council, and this is all one set. So I kind of like this set. I have a lot of Camp Rainy Mountain camp patches as well. So these are all Camp Rainy Mountain. I assume this one here is probably for the eclipse that everybody made one for a couple years ago. And then this is Camp Rotary and Scoutland. Again, all part of the same collection. Got them all in one swoop. All right, Okie Pinokie, Camptology. These are both Camptology. And by the way, if I ever mispronounce any of the camps and it's your camp, I do apologize. Please feel free to correct me after the presentation. For a long time, the one in Chicago, I called it Owassipi. And as we all know, it's Owassipi. So I'm definitely not I'm not the guy to talk to about pronunciation. But I like these patches. I like both of them. Again, also Camptology, 55th anniversary. Begs the question, I wonder if they made a 50th anniversary set. I'll have to look for that. All right, Southwest Georgia, Camp Osborne, Bridge to the Future. I wonder if that was put out the same year as that was the Jamboree logo, not logo, motto or whatever. The Leonard and Marjorie Williams Family Scout Reservation, I think, is a rename from Camp La Noche, because I don't think they just suddenly found this full-blown camp reservation. And but anyway, they must have had some kind of a ceremony on August 24th. Put this out with a card. They put out a few more. I've had all of these a long time, not quite since, well, maybe since 2007. I'm not sure. And here's another one. But I do, fortunately, I still have one from Camp La Noche, and I'm glad about that because I actually like this one better than the others. All right, Gulf Ridge, Flaming Arrow Scout Reservation, and Camp O&J Broreen. It doesn't roll off the tongue. There's also a flap that goes along with this, and I may end up doing a presentation at the end with all my hat patches and flaps. So that would be 7, Johnny. This is one of my favorite camp logos for Tanakita from Gulfstream. And I'll tell you, I'm glad that Camp Shands puts on these winter blasts, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have very many from Camp Shands. As it is, I have a lot from Camp Shands because they put out at least 2 every year for this winter blast, one regular, one staff. And I don't know if they always mention it, like this one's got a snowflake and a tree, but other than that, they're the same. So I assume one of them is staff. This is 08, 11, 12, 13, and 14, 15, 16. A lot of them kind of similar. These 2 are the same year. These 2 are not winter blasts, so I was kind of happy to get at least a couple that are not winter blast. All right, South Florida Council, Camp Sawyer, the Edward B. Night Scout Reservation. And these are all a little oversized. They're all the same size too. I just made this one bigger so it was easier to see. And this is a cool one. The hurricane went through and probably did some damage to the camp. And so this is Camp Sawyer. And then we transitioned into Seminole here. We got one that has both. And then we got 2 Camp Seminoles. Southwest Florida, Camp Flying Eagle. There's another one I don't know. BSR. For the longest time, I didn't really look that closely. I thought it was BSA. But then when I was putting this presentation together, I realized it is actually BSR. And so I'm not sure what scout reservation that is. So again, if anybody, one of you Florida guys, maybe, Wallwood Scout Reservation. And finally, Puerto Rico. So this was a wood badge course held at the camp. This was a conclave held at the camp. And I'm sure a lot of you are aware that Hurricane Maria tore through Puerto Rico 2018, 2019, I think 2019 maybe. And they had an Aero Corps type thing. They went down, 100 airmen went down and helped them rebuild the camp so they could open summer camp that year. And our council sent down 4 people, and one of them knew that I collected these camp CSBs, so he brought this back for me. So that's pretty nice. And then this is a set that they put out, I think in the last year, probably. I less than a year. But if you ever seen any of their CSBs, some of them are beautiful. They're frogs and beautiful frogs and stuff like that. Nice colored backgrounds. So anyway, from Puerto Rico, it's a long trip home, so we better start.